Okay, so before that, I was gonna say that I think that that women are we get genetically modified.
How is that?
And I think that women, and here's my theory, and I could be completely wrong, and the internet probably gonna destroy me for this, but I think women that have more than two baby daddies usually have some sort of mental illness.
Oh.
Really?
Yeah, because you're getting genetically modified too much.
Why when you
I think, okay, so this is what I know. Every time you get pregnant, right, there's stem cells that come from that baby. And that's them stem cells end up behind your eyes and your brain and your heart and your lungs and stuff and help your organs heal while the baby taken from you. And those stem cells will always stay with you, right? So that means that man is always in you. And that is why
Ooh, that makes
the
sense.
Bible says you will only desire your husband. Correct. This is why you gotta use condoms, because that baby better get up inside you, and the uterus is very porous, much like the mouth, right? So when anything goes up in there, it automatically the uterus starts to absorb it. It starts going through the vaginal walls and all that, and the blood it gets into the bloodstream,
Yeah.
right? And so
right.
All right,
it takes like
yeah, get in there.
so it takes like 6 weeks to get a man out of your system if
Okay. Let me slow her down for a minute. Shout out to Tiffany Haddish. So she got a theory that women with more than two baby daddies are mentally ill. I would say possibly, like I said, shout out to my wife. We just come out that delivery room. I don't know how you can go in there with 3 or 4 or 5 different men. That's crazy.
Shout out to Wild Tiffany for breaking it down. She said, y'all sisters out here genetically modified to meet. Y'all been modified by the glaze. I believe there's some truth to this. We talk about parabonding and stuff like that. Yeah, you letting the guy, he is injecting his DNA into you. We are organic material. There will be, subsequent changes for sure. I believe what she's saying. And then again, not just one guy, 2, 3, 4. It's a lot. It's a lot of DNA swimming up through you. I believe it. She wild, but I believe her.
I mean, I don't know about a mental illness, but I definitely think that there's something to that. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I always thought that uh like a person's DNA or whatever stays in you for 7 years. I don't know anything about 6 weeks. I thought it was 7 years. It takes
Ooh.
7 years to get that person's DNA and imprint out of you.
Mm.
Has
I
anybody
know.
else heard that, or is that just me?
I remember all I know about. I know Kay was talking about as far as relationships. You want to be out of a relationship at least half the time you were in one. But as far as how long glaze stay up in you, I'm gonna have to use Chat GPT for that.
Yeah, yeah, we need to check that out because that's what I thought. But as far as the mental illness, I don't know about that, but I do believe it does something to you. You just can't have all the multiple swimming up in it. I just don't think that that's the
That
best.
part. So, yeah, not sure how long it stay up in you. Y'all might want to go ask one of them ninjas at the Diddy parties. They gonna tell you. But here we
I,
go.
I tell you, stay alive in you for 5 days. So that's wow.
and anything goes up in there, it automatically the uterus starts to absorb it. It starts going through the vaginal walls and all that, and the blood it gets into the bloodstream,
Yeah.
right? And so
right.
so it takes like
Yeah, get in there.
so it takes like 6 weeks to get a man out of your system if you have unprotected sex, and it's because he's starting to bind to your DNA, right? And that's why it's couples when they be together too long, they start looking alike. You start looking like him. Like it's not the guy don't start looking like her. She start looking like him because he is genetically modifying her, and every time you get pregnant by him, you start to get modified, right? So if you get pregnant by multiple peoples, right, that's multiple spirits, multiple thoughts.
Now, here's the deal. Tiffany Haddish has become like the boy who cried wolf because she always off base and saying something wild that if she's telling the truth or if she hitting on something, people ain't gonna believe her. They're gonna say that's crazy, Tiffany saying something crazy. But there may be some truth to it.
Yeah, and that's my point exactly. She a wild sister, so it's hard to really gotta the source. We used to say this as kids, right? Gotta consider the source of the information, and she may not be the best. But there you go, and she touched on something. I realized that folks that be together for a while, they do seem to start looking alike. Yeah, and it's true. We'll start looking like the guy. Hopefully, my wife don't start looking like me. That'd be unfortunate. but yeah, Okay, some logic seems to be in the room.
To piggyback off of what Ebony just said, it does say, yes, a woman can carry a man's DNA inside of her, but not in the way some false claims suggest. And so it says fetal microchimerism is a phenomenon where small numbers of fetal cells transfer to the mother during pregnancy and can persist in the body for years, even decades. So, Ebony, to your point, you said 7 years. It's saying decades.
Oh man.
So you were right.
Call it forever. No, let's stop playing with it. That's probably one instance. They out here hunching. So yeah, wow, Tiffany Haddish can making some sense. Especially I guess it depends, right? Depends on the strength.
But what have we been able to observe through all the data? Every weekend, every Tuesday and Thursday, every Saturday, Regal Rumble. Most of these women have multiple babies' fathers, and most of them are crashing out. So could it be because of all of the different fetal microchimerism running through their bodies?
See what we're dealing with? We got AI, then fetal, micro, whatever you feel like.
Microchimerism, chimerism. That's what
I'm not gonna try to say it.
Oh, here we go. Hit the like button.
Her, and every time you get pregnant by him, you start to get modified, right? So if you get pregnant by multiple peoples, right, that's multiple spirits, multiple thoughts, multiple modifications from different DNA strands.
All you hoes, I hope you're listening.
It's causing you to have mental stress. So it's very evident. Like what I'm saying is very evident. It makes sense because like you got all these dating apps, all these women like free sex, free this, whatever. I'm doing money. I'm living it. I'm exerting my sexuality and all this, and I don't care if I got 5 kids or 5 baby daddies, whatever. Usually those bitches are they're struggling in so many different ways, not just financially, but also just like on where to focus, how to whatever, because you got too many different bloodlines in your blood.
So there you go. So shout out to her. And they coming after her because, as we know, I believe she's childless. So they saying, she's always coming after women with kids because she can't have none. And they do that to her. So it's unfortunate, but the sisterhood be on her.
See that? I know. Yeah, Tiffany spilled too much of her information online. I hate that for these sisters, man. They be looking for outlets to vent. I remember she's up here talking about she had like toxic shock syndrome for years. I ain't gonna get into the details, but it was a while. I was like, what? So yeah, she came up here being very vulnerable, talking about something that was not flattering. And then when it comes here trying to say that these baby mamas is mentally unstable, they gonna stomp you out, Tiffany. They got all the ammo on you, sister. They ain't gonna stop.
Tiffany Haddish, sometimes I wish you would find it in your heart to just shut the hell up. Because every time you open up your mouth, it's just like here we go again. So she went on a podcast saying that mothers that have more than 2 baby daddies have some type of mental illness. She went on and on trying to state her case. So I pose a question, Tiffany Haddish. What mental illness do you have? You make inappropriate videos with little kids. You have 2 DUIs. And you're supposed to be a comedian, but I never find the funny. So what category of mental illness do you hold? Exactly. And I find it so funny that you can sit on a podcast and talk about single mothers or mothers with multiple baby fathers when you're not even a mother yourself.
That part. One thing we noticing about the sisterhood and the gynocracy, they will rock out with these people until, like you said, you get out of line. We seen it with Keke Palmer. All right. They say, oh yeah, you was defending R. Kelly. It's like, but you was rocking with her until she got out of line. Same thing here. They cool with Tiffany. You say something, hey, didn't you make that video with you and Ari Spears and y'all was doing something inappropriate with a kid? Now it's time to cancel her because she.
See, that's what we say. The gynocracy be silent whenever these atrocities be happening, and they just wait. They're like, "Oh, you done effed up. It's okay." They're like, "Don't worry about it. Don't worry about that video. It's cool. Just stay in line. Don't worry about being too vulnerable. Just stay in line. Because as soon as you step out of line to what we say." And keep in mind, gynocratic rules and policies change hour by hour. So you just gotta be a slave to the gynocracy, or else you get canceled.
That part. The gynocracy is like the federal government building up a RICO case, and they just keep letting you keep committing crimes. Keep going. We just built up the case, and once the feds come kick the door down, you're going to jail.
And they ain't even knocking. They just kicking it down with 2 foots. They throwing flash bangs. It's just wow. You don't stand a chance. Then these sisters end up depressed on the internet, crying, talking about how they've been victimized by their friends.
Exactly. And I find it so funny that you can sit on a podcast and talk about single mothers or mothers with multiple baby fathers when you're not even a mother yourself. So how do you know that? I know some people, hell, I don't have multiple baby daddies. I got 1 kid and 1 baby daddy. And I have suffered through anxiety. So what's your point?
I remember when I lost my mind.
Well, there we go. She debunked the theory. She said, Tiffany, you ain't got no kids, and I only got 1 kid, and we both crazy. So now what?
Yeah! Boom, shakalaka!
Golly. The gynocracy, we all got to go crash it down. Why share that? More ammo. So now her enemies. See, this is so stuck in their own world. She think it's just her and Tiffany Haddish and all her friends. No, your enemies and frenemies go see this. And now guess what they know about you? Now they know that your baby daddy giving you heck. You just told us he got you depressed. Now they got ammo on you and the wicked gynocratic cycle continues. Congratulations.
Man. So what you got, Ebony? What's your take here?
I mean, it seems like it's the same old song and dance. Like you guys said, once something pops off or they say something that's out of line, there they go bringing up old shit, but it has nothing to do with what she's talking about. And then she goes, like you guys said, she just proved it. Obviously there's something wrong. Nug got her all out of whack and she don't know what to do. So it just proves the point.
That part. And the title of tonight's show, Raquel, the misandry of these modern women will be their downfall.
It will be your downfall because feminism and misandry has no place in a man's world. And if the more worthless you make men feel about their contributions to our life cycle, the more you're going to be, out of a play date, like, I'm sorry, you can't expect to come into the sandbox and have men not want to throw sand at you if all you do is start shit once the minute you're in there. If you can't play nice, then they're going to put you out. Or put you out of, just not include you in the pursuit. Like I've seen a lot of TikToks about women asking where have all the men gone? Well, I'm sure they're around, but you can't see them because your toxic misandry and feminism is like mosquito spray. You're walking around smelling like a skunk. And they're just looking around you, over you, and through you to get through the ones that aren't putting off that nasty odor. So, girl, like it's not about, if you don't agree with what Tiffany Haddish says and it doesn't apply to you, then you heard it and you just moved on. But if you went out and you made 10 and 15 TikToks about it and you were all in your feelings, it's because you know that you yourself are different because you had a baby with a guy that didn't choose you. And now you have anxiety and you don't have the life that you know that you want and probably feel like you deserve because you made that mistake. So even though she doesn't have these children and, all these things that you say about her, she's still also not a single mother being crazy and having all of this impact a child. So it goes both ways. Like, you're a mother, you did it wrong, you have anxiety, you're poisoning a child. Tiffany is speaking her opinion, but there's no child for her to go home and poison.
I thought Tiffany had 1 kid.
No, I don't think she has any kids.
Wow.
Yeah. Because I think they said that she can't, or she was saying that she can't have kids, or.
Yeah, I think that's why Common left.
The toxic shock thing. I think when Gavin brought that up, I don't think that you can. And the toxic shock thing,
There we
I think
go.
Tiffany was grown. Well, hold on. If she was raised by an older woman, which I think she was, that probably didn't use that particular item growing up, she probably didn't know how to educate her on when you take an item like that out. Because for the mother or the grandmother, there was something that you changed that never was like inside of you. You feel what I mean? So that's also something that you have to teach, like the waxing thing that we talked about last week. That's the only reason why I wanted to say it, because if your elders are teaching you about something that they never use, then you would probably end up like with a Tiffany Haddish and have something like toxic shock that can make you not be able to have children later on.
Facts. There you go. Yeah, this didn't start with Tiffany, goofy stuff like that. There you go. I like to always go back to the parents, because there you go. If these kids ain't taught, they don't know. I know, yeah, I know there was a special, they had to teach cheerleaders about stuff like that, like the professional NFL cheerleaders. Wild stuff. But yeah, if we aren't taught as humans, how do we know?
That part. So it's unfortunate, but as far as the sister Tiffany and her whole theory, we're going to put her in the sub for now.
Yeah, she's lucky. Go ahead.
The passengers of the doomed Titanic sub spent their last moments in total darkness looking for bioluminescent creatures out of the small window and listening to their favorite music. The new details of the 5 passengers' final moments have been revealed by the wife and mum of the father-son duo.
Wade in the water, wade in the water, diamond wade in the water. Something's gonna trouble the water. You better wade in the water. Yeah, man.